Welcome to Arcane Explained. This is episode 4, Getting Out of the Mud. Because I hear a lot of people talk about this stuff and we get stuck in specific things. So before I go any further in this stuff, I need to get you guys out of the mud. And you'll show that these things that I tell you are toolkits to get out of that and to understand that. So the first thing I'm going to say is chaos. Okay, I talked to a fellow HVAC technician, which is what I do. If you don't know what that is, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration. And he was saying, well, sometimes Kyle's just broken. It's just chaos. So we don't know. It's like, no. It's broken because there's something wrong with it. Something's causing something like that. It's not just chaotic, oh, it just doesn't work. If it's broken, there's something wrong with it, inside of it, internal, or something like that. There's never just, oh, it stopped. Okay? There's always a process to understanding how this works. So I go to the first metaphysical law to understand chaos, is that a source of energy is always from a source of matter. Okay, there is no other ways about it. The matter first, then the metaphysical, then the energy. Okay, so knowing that something could be causing obstruction. The same thing goes in obstruction. Same thing goes with health. Okay, same thing. So even if you get all chaotic and you say chaotic's like that, there's an order to it. Even random has an order to it. You know. And I believe things are more random, and I believe chaos actually exists more in the fact that there's no control of it. Okay, and it's like saying after we die, there's no control on when we die, but when we die, after that, it's chaos. We don't know what happens. It's gonna be chaos. Something else has control over it, no longer us. You know, we can program ourselves to think a certain way and to make it happen, and we'll get further in that later. But in the end, there is no control. Okay, so then we get to the next one. Frequencies. People always get stuck in frequencies. You know what a frequency is? A frequency is just it's a complexity of a bunch of simplicities in a specific order to give off a complex frequency, right? So we have to have specific materials to cause this. But those materials will never change. The periodic table is never going to change. Those elements are never going to change. The only way they change is based off the threshold of environment that they're located in. For example, heat. The threshold for heat can be explained through water, through ice to steam. In between there, we have life. We also have thresholds of space, like our planet, the sun, the solar system, and then the galaxy. You know, so those spaces are all different based off of what's controlling it, right? And based off its relativity and everything. So those frequencies are just a complexity of the simplicity. So there's a whole bunch of things to make them. Like for example, we have a bunch of proteins in our body, and all of them are different, but all of them are based off specific simplicities to create that complexity. Okay, and showing that those proteins are different really shows how complex things really are, to the point where at that small tiny little level they're different. You know, there's a whole bunch of different ones, because that little tiny level, what it's made up of and how it's organized, makes it different. Okay, so we have to understand that all those properties that it does is there based on its organization. So that's part of the understanding information, is we have to understand that, and then we can organize it and how it works based off of how it works metaphysically. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to go to is religion. Religion is always in one that we get stuck in the mud, and when we talk about religion, is there's three things for every religion. Okay, for the greater good, community, and there's something greater than us. And if you're atheist, community is greater than you anyways. So there you go. And it's to be good. And community and serving the community is to be good. So community really holds all that together. Okay. So we get stuck in that, and then we get stuck in the God part, because we go, oh, so we have the greater good, then we have this, and there's something beyond us. Well, there is something beyond us, okay? But it would have to also be what do you call it? It needs a physical reality. So therefore, if it doesn't have a physical reality, it's not going to work. However, I am a man that has been touched by something greater than myself. So when I say this, I'm telling you basically that there is something more, and it is protected by the physical reality, and that's how they exist. Okay? So that's the end of getting out of the mud, because I want you guys to forget all that stuff and remember that there is an order and there is a pattern to everything. I mean, this is what science is. Science is understanding that order and that pattern. And chaos is another way of saying we don't know. Okay? Getting stuck in the frequencies is saying we're trying to understand how that movement at that level is actually working, because there's different types of frequencies that happen, or different types of movements that happen at that level, different type of things that are happening at that level. So we're understanding those things at, but we're getting caught in saying that it's frequency, and what we really need to understand is that the way they move and the geometrical pattern and everything else is going to cause it to do what it does in the metaphysical. And then religion. We're going to dial back down a little bit and say that science would prove religion and help religion anyways, and that includes Hindu. For example, Hindu is a little bit different. So we'll be talking about that later. Next, we'll be talking about what I talked about in the last episode. We're going to talk about the zero, because zero is beautiful. First, we have to understand zero and go on from there. So thank you for watching Arcane Explain. This is episode 4, Getting Out of the Mud.